The promotion I stole, a confession that will never be sent. Dear Marcus, you'll never read this. I'll burn it after I write it or delete it or whatever you do with confessions that can't ever see daylight. But I need to put this somewhere, even if it's just into the void, because carrying it alone is crushing me from the inside out. I'm the reason you didn't get the VP position. Not because I was better qualified, not because I worked harder or had a better vision for the department. I got it because I sabotaged you, deliberately and carefully over the course of 6 months. And the worst part? Everyone thinks you just fell short, that you weren't quite ready, that I was the natural choice. I need you to understand something first. I didn't start out planning this. When they announced the VP opening, we were friends. Real friends, I thought. We'd been colleagues for 7 years, grabbed drinks after brutal weeks, covered for each other during family emergencies. You were the one who stayed until 2 a.m., helping me prepare for the Henderson pitch when my father was in the hospital. I was the one who talked you through your broken engagement, let you sleep on my couch for a week when you couldn't face going home to an empty apartment. But when Janet called us both into her office and said she was considering us for the position, something shifted in me. Not immediately. At first, I was excited that we were both in the running. May the best person win, we said. We even joked about it. Then I went home and did the math. The VP salary was $180,000 more than what I was making. My daughter's medical bills from her surgery were drowning us. My wife had just lost her job. We were 3 months from losing the house. And you? You were single, no kids, no debt I knew about. You didn't need it the way I needed it. That's how I justified the first thing I did. You remember that client meeting with Ravencroft Industries? The one where you supposedly mixed up the pricing tiers? You didn't mix anything up, Marcus. I went into your office the night before while you were in the bathroom, and I switched 2 pages in your presentation deck. Just 2 pages. You didn't notice because why would you? You'd rehearsed it 100 times. But when you pulled up slide 12 instead of slide 9 during the pricing discussion, and the numbers didn't match what you were saying, I watched Janet's face tighten. I watched her make a note. I told myself it was just one mistake. It wouldn't matter. You'd bounce back. But then I did it again. The Morrison proposal. I knew you'd been developing that strategy for months, staying late, building something genuinely innovative. I also knew you'd mentioned it to me over coffee. Explain the core concept because you were excited and I was your friend, and who else would you tell? So I took that conversation we had, and I wrote my own version. I submitted it to Janet 2 days before you planned to. When you finally presented yours, it looked derivative, like you'd copied me. You came to my office afterward, confused and hurt, asking if I thought you'd somehow unconsciously borrowed from something I'd said. And I looked you in the eye and told you that great minds think alike, that it was just convergent thinking, that your version had merit too. I watched you doubt yourself. I watched you wonder if you were as creative as you thought you were. I did that to you. There were smaller things too. I made sure I was the one who handled the Tokyo call at 5 a.m., knowing you'd asked to lead it. I volunteered for the conference panel you'd requested, told Janet you'd mentioned you were uncomfortable with public speaking lately. That wasn't true. I mentioned in a meeting that you seemed off your game lately, probably the broken engagement stuff, planting seeds. I praised you publicly while privately expressing concerns about his judgment under stress. The worst part came during the final interview round. We were both meeting with the executive committee. I went first. I knew they'd ask me about team dynamics, about who I'd want in key roles if I got the position, and I knew they'd ask about you specifically because everyone knew we were close. I could have praised you. I could have been honest, that you were brilliant, dedicated, that you'd be an asset to any leadership team. Instead, I said you were talented but sometimes struggled with follow-through, and that you'd been going through a difficult personal period that seemed to be affecting your focus. I said I valued our friendship, but I wanted to be honest about what I'd observed. I made it sound like I was being a reluctant truth-teller, protecting the company. I poisoned the well. And I did it with just enough truth mixed in. You were going through a broken engagement. You had seemed tired, that nobody questioned it. 3 weeks later, Janet offered me the job. You congratulated me. You took me to dinner to celebrate. You said you was happy for me. That I deserved it, that you knew I'd be great. You meant it. I could see it in your eyes. No resentment, no suspicion, just genuine warmth from someone who considered me a friend. I wanted to vomit. That was 4 months ago. I've been VP of Strategic Development for 4 months. I saved my house, my daughter got the follow-up care she needed, my wife found a new job, partially through a connection I made in my new role. My life got better, because I destroyed my friend's chance at success. And you? You're still a director. You're good at your job, but that opportunity doesn't come around often. Janet's not going anywhere for years. You're probably stuck now. I did that. You've never once treated me differently. Last week you asked my advice on a proposal you're working on. You trust me. You still think I'm your friend. I can't tell you any of this. If I confessed, it wouldn't just destroy our friendship. It would destroy my career, my reputation, possibly my marriage when my wife realizes what kind of person she's married to. I'd lose everything I lied and cheated to protect. And maybe that's what I deserve, but I'm too much of a coward to face it. So instead, I write this letter you'll never read. I carry this weight every single day. Every time you smile at me in the hallway, every time you ask how my daughter's doing, every time you treat me with the kindness and respect I don't deserve, it's another stone added to the pile. People talk about karma, about getting what you deserve. But I got everything I wanted. I got the promotion, the money, the stability. And you got nothing but lies from someone you trusted. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I'm not even sure why I'm writing this, except that I needed to say it out loud, even if only to myself. I am not a good person. I am a liar and a cheat and a betrayer of friendship. I tell myself I did it for my family, that I was desperate, that anyone would have done the same. But I know that's not true. Plenty of people face hard times without becoming who I became. The worst part isn't the guilt, though. The worst part is that I'd probably do it again. If I had to choose between my daughter's health and your career, between my house and your advancement, I'd choose my family every single time. And I'd hate myself for it every single time. So this is my confession, Marcus. My secret that will never see light. I'm sorry. It doesn't mean anything and it doesn't change anything, but I'm sorry. I'm the reason you didn't get what you deserved. I'm the villain in your story, even though you don't know there's a villain, and I have to live with that.